Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta. Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta. Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear devotees in the Dhamma, welcome to the Dhamma discussion session. So first of all, I would like to say a few words about my teacher, Venerable Dr. late Bhikkhuni Kusuma Mehenin Mahanse. So I have known Bhikkhuni Kusuma Mehenin Mahanse for I think now more than 10 years. And she has been a very inspiring teacher. Whenever we needed her, we could call her, we could ask questions, and whatever she knew, she would teach us. Even though she was in a very advanced stage, she had the energy of a young I can't say young girl, but young energy, youth energy, very energetic. I think that energy was there because she...
we don't just keep you in touch, we keep you talking.
With Mobica, we don't just talk to people, we meet them.
For the ultimate experience of clarity.
Visible throughout. And with that energy, she could serve anyone and everyone who came to see her, visit her, who sought out her advice and who wanted to listen to the Dhamma, which she did until the last few days.
I apologize, Bhikkhuni. Please mute your phones. Thank you.
Mute your mics. Yeah, that should be fine. If you see any mic is on or if any noise comes, you can do it from your end too, I think. Anyway, okay. So I'm so grateful to my teacher and also what she did to spread Buddhism across the 4 corners of the world. And also she gave a head start to relive the Jurassic Park. She found the genes and then she gave life to it. And now we have these Jurassic Bhikkhunis after about 1,000 years. They have been disappeared, they have come back, and I like that word because Professor Dhammavihari Hamaduro says Jurassic Bhikkhunis. So it is like that because everyone thought it was extinct, but somehow with help with some Mahatheros. Bhikkhuni Kusuma Meninwansa managed to give life to that dead lineage. At least it was dead in Sri Lanka. But she managed to rekindle it, and now a lot of the nuns are benefiting from that, and they are getting into the order. They are recognized as the bhikkhunis, and so they can continue to practice as a member of the sangha, getting the due respect. So there's so many things that we could talk about, but I think all of you know, some of you know better than me, Bhikkhuni Kusuma Meninwansa. You all had a close tie, so I think I don't need to mention more and more about what she had done for the sasana, but she was a legend, so she was also like an intellectual giant. To have 2 PhDs, it's not an easy feat. So as you know, she was intellectually, she was very sharp, and she was a genius, and she had courage and bravery to do things that others would not even dare to. And with all that, doing all that, showing all that bravery, but she still didn't lose her unconditional loving kindness, compassion. She was still like a mother. She didn't lose that, even though she had to face going into the war in the front row to the battle. She got shot, but she never ever showed any anger or any disheartedness or any frustration, or she didn't blame anyone. She didn't go into this negativity, and she didn't tense herself. She didn't අර අපි කියන්නේ දැඩි වෙනවා කියලා. She did word is not coming, but she was so soft and gentle and humble, and she was a true leader. So she had all the good qualities that Buddha would point as in a Kalyana Mitra. So they all came from she following the Dhamma and living by it, and then developing it within, and then she led by example. So Mudu Anatimani Guna was there with her. So I, even though she's not here with us physically, wherever she is, I bow down and pay respect to her, and also wish her that may she be able to continue developing all the bodhisattva qualities and serve a bit more to help strengthen the Bhikkhuni Sasana that she started, and may she attain Nibbana as and she wished to attain Nibbana. Okay, so I know you have been having this session with Bhikkhuni Kusuma Meninwansa, and if you like, I'm not too sure whether, I feel like doing it, but I don't know whether we do it for a monastic member. Normally, if someone in this caliber, when they pass away, when we do a service or whatever, if we remember them, we take 1 minute silence. I'm not too sure whether it's applicable to the monastics, but anyway, we can do that. We can think of all the good qualities that she had, all the service she did, how she touched your heart, how she inspired you, and develop a lot of good positive energy in your heart. Let's take 1 minute to meditate on this and develop a lot of unconditional loving kindness and gratitude. And then share that merit, share that generous, positive energy with her. So wherever she is, she can be very happy and she can join. And she also can join the Dhamma sharing with us. So let's take 1 minute to meditate and develop gratitude and loving kindness and share it with her. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so much merits for inviting me. It's such an honor to be with you all and continue this program, what my teacher has been doing. And so much merits for inviting me. I'll try to do my best, but don't expect the same quality because I'm not near where Venerable Dr. Bhikkhuni Kusuma is, but I will try to do best from my abilities to help you all to understand the Dhamma from the little bit that I know. So don't have high expectations, so you won't get frustrated. Once again, much for giving me the opportunity to do this session. So giving the Dhammadana, the Sabbadana and Dhammadana and Jinati. So it gives me also the opportunity to make a lot of merits to fulfill my paramis also, even though I'm busy. I'm quite happy to generously donate my time and effort and energy and everything to help you also. So in turn, we also benefit from that. So our Dana Paramita also gets fulfilled from that. So I'm very happy to be with you all today and continue this program. And I look forward.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Venerable Bhikkhuni. Then may I start with the questions? Can I do that now? Yes. Okay. So I have actually got a few questions. Now these, I'll start off with the questions I received before the 15th of August. So we'll finish that, and if time permits, I will move on to the questions that I received during the last week, and even today I received a couple of questions. So the first question is, Venerable Bhikkhuni, could you please explain who is an Asathpurushaya and how to let go of our associations with Asathpurushaya?
Okay. Very interesting question. And I don't think after we start this discussion, I don't think we will have time for any other questions, because this is such a deep question. If you can understand who is an Asathpurusha, who is an Sathpurusha, in that you can understand the real deep teachings in the Dhamma. So this is a good start. So before I start, also I forgot to mention that wholeheartedly I share my merits with Sohaniputta for arranging this session and continuing it and helping everyone. So much merit for organizing this session. So, okay, now the question comes, who is an Asathpurusha and how to let go of the association of the Asathpurusha? Okay. If you understand the qualities of Asathpurusha, and if you can figure out someone is an Asathpurusha, then we don't have to do anything to answer to the second question. Automatically it will happen. It's like this. If you see a snake and you see the snake as a snake, not like an innocent robe or not like an innocent garandia, but if you recognize that serpent is a snake, no one have to come and tell you to let go of that snake, not to go near it. Your own knowledge about the snake will tell you not to go near it. It is something to be avoided. It is something to get rid of if it's already near you. And if you're already not near there, the signal will come not to go near there, to keep the distance. And if you're strong, to get rid of it. Not killing, but just getting rid of it from, inside the room or wherever that it was in the close proximity. That's because why? Because you have the knowledge now, the amount of damage that it can do to you. Not just that you get scared by seeing it, but it has the potential even to kill you. Destroy the whole life. So the people who knows that it's a snake will know what to do. So we don't have to tell you how to let go. But if someone doesn't know this is a snake, and if someone doesn't know what is a snake is all about, the qualities of the snake, what it can do to you, like a little child, it will try to go and touch and pet. It's only the little child will go and hold on to it because they are ignorant about it, because they don't know anything about it. So it's like that. We keep on associating the Asathpurushas because you don't know what Asathpurusha can do to you. Now, if you can recognize what an Asathpurusha can do to you, you yourself will know how to let go. We don't need to bring any techniques. We don't need to teach you how to do it. It will happen automatically. Like you see a snake and how you will respond to it, you know what to do. Okay, so we only have to answer the first one. So now it is not a 1 minute thing, even though that question looks very simple. I will try to answer it in a way where you can really understand whether you have these Asathpurusha qualities, because that's the most important thing, that we need to help ourselves. If we have those Asathpurusha qualities, we have to first stop being an Asathpurusha. And then when you see it within you, and when you can see it, and when you can recognize that, then it's easy for you to recognize it outside. So don't listen to this thinking, wanting to detect others who is an Asathpurusha. That's not going to help you much. It can help you but not much, because first we need to get rid of the Asathpurusha in us. And then when you know these are the Asathpurusha qualities, it's easy for you to resonate and even detect it from outside. And now while you're trying to improve yourself, then you know these qualities are not to be developed within me, but they are to get rid of. So you know, if you see these qualities even outside, you know that it's not something you should be associating with. Now, these Asathpurusha qualities can be to different degrees. You have to understand that. No one is perfect. Now, when we call someone a Purusha, now also let me ask you, when I talk, sometimes I automatically will go into the Sinhalese language too, because I'm more comfortable in talking in Sinhalese. Is there anyone here, if I happen to go automatically to my mother tongue, is there anyone here who doesn't understand Sinhalese? Because then I'll make a conscious effort to stick with all the English words and talk in English. But
No, I don't think so, Venerable. I think we can all understand Sinhala. Yes. Yeah.
Yes? Okay. All right. Is there anyone have joined from a different background, from other religious backgrounds?
Yes, Venerable Bhikkhuni, this is Rimzi. I'm from Sri Lanka, a good friend of Suhani's. I'm a Muslim, but with a very open mind to all faiths. And I believe in learning from other religions. So I'm very happy to be here and to be part of this.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, and welcome. And I hope you will benefit from our discussion. And if I go into, if it happens, I will try to keep it to English. But Sinhalese, are you familiar? Do you speak in Sinhala, or do you understand?
Yes, I do, but
Okay.
not very much the deeper Sinhalese words of the Dhamma. I don't know the Dhamma. So the religious part, some terminology I'm not familiar with, but maybe I can learn.
Okay, no, I will try to stick with simple words and continue this with English, but there is certain Pali words that I will mention, but of course I will give the meaning, so then you don't have to worry about if you hear a word in a different language, don't worry about it, try to grasp the meaning, okay? All right. Now there is these two words called Sat and Asat. Now tell me, when we say to someone, Purusha, this Purusha or this person, and you put the prefix, oh, this is a Sat Purusha. What does that mean? What changed in the Purusha? This is a Purusha, this is a person, but then when we add the prefix Sat, oh, this is a Sat Purusha. What happens? What's the difference between the Purusha and the Sat Purusha? Okay, so Sat means it's a term for goodness, to denote the good. And when we say someone that's a Asathpurusha, Asat means the opposite of the Sat. Asat means bad. Now, good and bad can be very, what we call in, to different people, it can have different measures. It can be, very relative. Now, when we talk about the real goodness, what we talk about is, what Buddha is pointing out is the qualities that helps us to find the peace within us and to find the within that deep peace, before that, this deep peace within your heart comes from when you're pure. So when we are pure, that's why they say pure are the blessed. So when someone is pure, they have peace in their heart. When someone has peace, there is this deep sense of satisfaction, deep sense of satisfied feeling. So they don't feel lonely, they don't feel frustrated, they don't feel upset with anything, and they are not unhappy. There comes a very deep sense of happy feeling. It's not a bubbling emotional happiness like when we experience pleasurable sensations. When we please our tongue with good food, or when we please our eyes with good sights, and the ear with the good sounds, the nose with good smells, fragrances, and the skin with good touches and everything. We experience a pleasure. And that pleasure also gives us some type of happiness. But Buddha points out that there is two types of happinesses. One is this low quality happiness that doesn't last long at all, but that makes us depend on these pleasant sensations. And that gives us kind of an instant pleasure, but that also goes away when that hormones disappears. When that experience disappears, it disappears. And it also has the quality of binding us into that, making us addictive to that. And with that comes a lot of undesirable consequences. And it brings a lot of damage to our system. So that's why that type of happiness is called a low quality happiness, gramya happiness. Gramya means boma nikam pahat, a low type happiness. So this is what we call the kama. Kama means you trying to get happiness by pleasing your senses. And ඒ කාමයේ අත්විඳලා තමයි සතුටින් ඉන්න හදන්නේ. That is a සතුට. We don't say there is no happiness that comes from that. There is, but there is consequences following that. We call there is ādīnava. I think I will explain this first. So you will be able to understand the difference between this low quality happiness and that other kind of happiness that Buddha is talking. The other type of happiness is the high grade happiness, high quality happiness, but that comes when you give up this low quality happiness. Because more you go after this low quality happiness, the consequences that follows bring stress. So due to this stress, what comes is suffering. What comes is physical, mental, lot of distress, lot of dukkha. So as a result of this, net result, after you go after this pleasing your senses and try to live a good life and be happy, at the end, what you get, the net result is stress. Stress doesn't give us any happiness at all. We are going after the happiness, but we end up getting stressed. And this is what's happening today. Because we are trying to get happiness, and we follow whatever we have to do to get that happiness. But as a result of going after that happiness and we trying to be happy with that low quality happiness, we end up getting stressed. And this is what's happening in the West, and that is also following to the developing countries now, because they are following the West now. So because the West believes that how you can live a happy life is by please your senses as much as you can, because that's their motto. Please your senses as much as you can. Don't worry whether you even hurt others in that process. Doesn't matter. As long as your senses are happy, you are happy. Just go for it. So at the end, what we have created is a system for stress. So now we are looking for happiness, but we all are unhappy. This unhappiness is now said in a different way in the healthcare system, that is called depression. Depression means someone is totally unhappy. They are living an unhappy world, unhappily. So the stress leads to this deep, thick, long-lasting unhappiness. And it is with that unhappiness, this mental illnesses and even the suicidal thoughts come. So now the WHO is having a big problem. They are saying, we will get rid of COVID within 1 or 2 years. I think we can handle, but they are saying what we are having the real problem now. The real pandemic is going to be by 2030, half of the population in this world are going to be depressed. 50% of people will have a mental illness. 50% of people, that means, are literally living in hell while they are on earth. So how on earth we are going to live a good life? How on earth we are going to make this a better place? How on earth we are going to bring peace and happiness to this world when people are indulged in this unhappiness? But how did that happen? By pursuing the happiness, by trying to please your senses, and that's where we are at. So hope you can understand this, why Buddha called this type of by experiencing the pleasures, why Buddha call that gives you a very low kind of a happiness, but with lot of adina, with lot of undesirable consequences that even destroys your whole life, not here and now. After you live with this type of happiness for a long period of time, with a lot of stress, with this depression, with a mental illness, with suicidal thoughts, it will come to a stage where you are living so unhappily in this world. Whether you take your life or not, our life is going to be very short, because this stress will silently kill us. It's called a silent killer. Plague of the century, they call this silent killer. Why? This stress adds stress in your physical body as well. So not just you lose the mental health, but you lose your physical health as well. So we will only have a short life anyway. So anyway, we will lose. Whether we suicide or not, that's a different question. The highest cause of death is suicide. So there is a tendency, if now itself, if the highest cause of death is suicide, then imagine by 2030, when half the world population becomes mentally ill, what will happen? So we know in every religion, we talk about if someone suicides, what will happen? They all talk, in some religions, they don't even allow the coffin to take like this, normally as a respect to the person who died. Because the whole meaning of human life, being a human being and coming to this world, and what you have to do is develop your humanness, human qualities. So you become a better person than who you were born. So you get more good qualities in you, develop good human qualities after birth. You will be born in a better place. Whether you believe or not in a rebirth, in every religion, they talk about being born in heaven or being born in hell. So that is rebirth. So when the whole point for us to, what we have to do when we are in this earth is to develop ourselves. So we avoid going to hell, but we go to a heaven, or to the Buddhist. We even have a better place than a heaven. That's I will go into later to that. So Buddhists don't just aim to go to heaven. It's only in their way. So when the Buddhists practice this Saddharma, the whole point of being a Buddhist is to practice this Sat quality. That's where we were talking about. Sat means good. So to be good, the human beings can practice this, and they can become more and more good. They can develop more and more goodness in them. And more, one part of goodness is good qualities and also the wisdom. So there, the whole point of the Buddha's teaching is to practice this goodness and wisdom. So at the end, not just that you live as a heavenly being while you're on earth, so happily you live here, and you can experience the heavenly blisses while you're on earth as a human being, and you also can experience the bliss of Nibbana, where you become an immortal person. You go beyond the death and the birth. So, but for the other religions, it stops at the heavenly realm. So never mind, let it be. And even for the human being to be in the heaven, you have to live a good life here. You need to live peacefully and happily here, then you can rest in peace and you can be in the heaven. So, but if you are not resting in peace here and now, but how you live is with stress, there's no signs of peace or happiness, but all you do is, you are so stressed and you're depressed and you grumble, complain, argue, fight, quarrel in this short time period you're in here, that you are supposed to develop all these good things and to go above, to ascend. But all you did is going after the sensual pleasures, and then it affected your mind because of that stress, and you're now an unhappy being. And when an unhappy being dies, we can write rest in peace. We can write to someone who died with suicide, someone who died when they are having a mental illness. We can write rest in peace. But we know in our heart, if someone knows what's happening, they are not resting. And this is why when someone suicides, because it's very apparent, when someone dies, it's very difficult to say actually, unless you are there at that point, very difficult to say where they will be born, whether they have gone to hell, or whether they have come back to the human realm, or whether they have gone to a better realm, we call the heavenly realms, or they have attained the Nibbana. But one thing for sure is so apparent when someone suicides. So that's why the church doesn't allow even the coffin to be taken up like this. Because I told you, why we take the coffin up high like this is respecting that dead person. Because it's not for that dead body, it's for that person. Because the whole point was, when they were here on earth, they practiced the goodness and wisdom. So now they have evolved to a better person, to a higher person. So that, to respect that, we take them up high, because we know they have ascended. Whether it's the heaven or wherever, they have ascended. So to show that and to pay tribute and to respect, we hold them up high, and even though it's a dead body. Now, when someone suicides, because it's so apparent that they have not ascended, they have had a very, 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 very negative mind. Their mind was full of anger, frustration, anxiety and worries, and full of emotions. One concourse of all these emotions. So they died with such emotions. They died with such disturbed mind, with such unhappy mind, such restless mind. Everyone knows they are not resting in peace. So if the church knows if someone has suicided, they don't allow the coffin to be taken up high on your shoulders. You have to drag that body. You have to keep it low. They put a robe around the coffin and people carry it low. Why? That person is going below, underground. Where? To the hell realms. Where? To where the unhappy beings are. Because he had lived an unhappy life here and he died with an unhappy mind. So we know he will be born somewhere there. So this suicide is discouraged, and also in every religion it's shown as something disgraceful to do for a human being. Even the animals don't suicide. Animals really don't suicide. But if some human being does that, it's a real disgraceful thing to do. Eka harima bala wadak. Eka harima වචනේ එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක හරිම තුච්ච වැඩක් කියලා කියන එක බොහොම නිකන් බාල වැඩක් මිනිස්සෙක්ට කරන්න වටින්නේ නැති වැඩක්. I think ඒ නිසා to discourage that. And every religion knows this. That's why they, even in our law, if someone tries to suicide and they don't succeed, they have to go to courts. They will be punished. They will be given a penalty, a fine, because it's a wrong thing to do. It's not something that's being encouraged in anywhere. Okay, so now this is the thing what's happening. Highest cause of death, suicide, means where are the most of the people are going now? You think about it, you will get the answer. Why is that? Due to this unhappiness. Why are we unhappy? We are trying to find happiness through wrong means. So as a result of this, we are getting stressed. As a result of this stress, it progresses slowly, year by year, day by day. Without you knowing, we come to a stage that we think, Hayyo, innawata wada hondai marunana. Hayyo, it's better to die than living. I don't look forward to live. I look forward to die. Thoughts will naturally come. Why? We are that distressed. We are that unhappy. That's why that thoughts comes. I'm sure some of us have those thoughts. So if you have, be very careful. That means you have a very unhappy mind. You need to do something about it right here, right now. The whole point of you learning Buddhism is for that. The Buddhism shows how to find the real happiness. And it's a kota. මෙන්න මේ happiness එකේ qualities දෙකක් තියෙනවා. The high quality happiness and the low quality happiness. Now you know why the finding pleasures through your senses, why Buddha called that type of happiness by gaining it through this going through the sensual pleasures, experiencing the sensual pleasures and gaining that happiness is a low quality one, because it takes your life into a disastrous place. Not here and now, not in this life, even the life after it will do. It will destroy even our life after. If we had a chance to come to this earth and be a human being and develop ourselves and to ascend and even to go to heaven or even to Nibbana, it will destroy that. So this is why Buddha said, no, the kame adinava. It's not a thing to play with. It's like you playing with fire. So Buddha points out, we need to know then how to find the proper happiness. So the proper happiness comes from you really living a stress-free life. When we are stress-free, we are peaceful. Naturally, we have this peacefulness in us. We are peaceful people. So if we live a life with meaning, we can live a stress-free life. In that stressless life, in that stress-free life, you will have immense peace in your heart. When the heart is peaceful, naturally a happiness comes from there. Very satisfied feeling, very fulfilled feeling. That brings you a type of a joy and a happiness from within. So you don't need to go after to satisfy your eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body. You will not become a slave. You don't look forward for good food. You don't look forward to show TV shows and this and that and the other to the eye. You don't look forward to listen to all the good music for this and that and other to satisfy the ears and try to find happiness. You will not look forward to do the makeup and have all this fragrance and this and that and the other to satisfy the nose to be happy. And you don't spend so much money on decorating the body and giving everything that the body is asking. So when your body is happy, that you get happiness. No. So you become so free from all that, because now your mind is pure. You have developed the humanness, human qualities, and your mind is very pure with this pure quality. So you're full of goodness and wisdom. That itself has a lot of fragrance. That itself has a lot of nice taste within. That itself satisfied every cell in your body. So you don't need to go outside, and you don't need to spend any money for all this entertainment, because you are a happy person, peaceful person. So this is a good quality happiness, because this don't have any adina, this don't have any undesirable consequences following you. This doesn't bring you stress. Purifying the mind is something you do with you. You don't have to spend a cent or a penny. So you become a very happy person, a peaceful person. So Nibbānam paramang sukham, paramang sukham, the highest type of the sukha, happiness that a person can experience is this bliss of Nibbana. And in this Mangala Sutta, Buddha explains, what is this Nibbana? Nibbana is Puttassa loka dhammehi chittan yassana kampati. Asokam virajan kemang etam mangalam uttama. The mind that is not shaken in the midst of all vicissitudes of life. That thick peace, the imperturbable serenity of mind is called the bliss of Nibbana. This should be the aim for the Buddhists. This is what the Buddhists aim. This is better than the heavenly happiness, because even the heavenly beings, the divine beings, the gods, when they have to face the life, the good things and the bad things, they also sometimes get angry. They also get upset. They also have fights. You may have heard in the suttas, in every religion you will see the gods have problems. So there, that place also not, they don't have 100% peace prevailing. When the conditions are good, they can live a good, happy life. But when conditions are not that favorable, they also can be unhappy. So attaining bliss of Nibbana means you don't have to wait to go somewhere else to do it. You do it here and now, using your human potential, using this human brain, training it, purifying it, bringing it to a state where whether the good things happen to you, or the bad things happen to you, or the things that you like happens to you, or the things that you don't like happens to you, your mind will not shaken. It reaches this imperturbable serenity of mind. You're resting in peace here and now while you're alive. After you die, we don't have to talk about it. If you have been resting in peace here and now in the midst of all vicissitudes of life while you are living, what do we have to talk about after death? So this resting in peace we have to do here and now. In this moment, we have to bring our mind to that such thick peace. So the Buddha had pointed out that it can be done in this very life, if you learn how to do it. So in the Mangala Sutta, Buddha is explaining Nibbana is not a place to go, but for you to attain, for you to experience in this very life, where when things you like or the desirable things happens, you don't jump up and down. When the undesirable things happens, when the things you don't like happens, when you have to face the problems, you don't get angry, you don't develop anxiety worries, you are not sad, you don't cry, you don't go to argue, you don't go to fight, you don't kill each other, or you don't kill yourself. We don't get emotional. So this is a state, to put it in a simple way, it's a state that you live without emotions. If you want to put it in another way for you to understand easily, because it's easy for you to relate to emotions. Emotions is the killer. Stress means you are an emotional person. It is the emotions that brings the stress. So this Nibbana is a stress-free life. So the person who experiences this bliss of Nibbana, we call Nibbana is bliss. That is bliss, because there's no problems, there's no unhappiness, there's no restlessness in there. There's no peace in there. There is no stress in there. So that's why we call bliss of Nibbana. So this bliss of Nibbana is not something that you get after you die. We don't have to wait. The Buddhists don't have to wait until you die to have the rest in peace. You do it here and now. So that's why we have to work hard to get to this. And Buddha had pointed out what to do. This is the best part. He had not just told us about there is a state like this, but he has said you can work on it and you can achieve it here and now. So this is the highest type of happiness, the highest quality, good quality, the most highest happiness one can experience is called the bliss of Nibbana. That is a mind unshaken, imperturbable serenity of mind, achieving that. So you face the world with, you live in your day-to-day life, you face the problems, you face, good things, bad things, problems, whatever that comes to you doesn't disturb. There won't be any emotional reactions. You're so peaceful. In that peace, you're happy, and you're going to face the problem in that state. And that's who we call the Arahants. When someone has achieved this state, we call they are fully enlightened. That means they have understood everything. So with that understanding, they have managed to stabilize their mind to the level where they can face the world without emotions. So an Arahat is a person who don't have any emotions, who have zero levels of stress. That's an Arahat. So Buddha points out there is these two kinds of happinesses. And now the Purusha becomes Satpurusha or Asathpurusha. That's where we were talking about. First, I want you to understand the happiness and the two quality, different types of happinesses, and how the low quality happiness take us to be stressed, and how it destroys our life here and now and also the life after, and how this good quality happiness helps us to live a good life here and now and even after the death. And also, if you want, we can go beyond the death. We can become Amaraniya, immortals, even bypassing the heavenly happinesses. Okay, so now there is a connection with this Asatpurushas and Satpurusha to this. Now I said, Buddha said the Satpurusha is someone who does things, who lives, whose thoughts, whose speech, whose action, and everything is about purifying their mind, bringing happiness within and to others.
අනේ නෑ මම වකලා දෙන්න පොඩ්ඩක් මෙහෙම අනේ රෙස්ට් කරන්න මට මේක Then go and do, please let me bring it.
All right.
So an Asatpurusha is someone who don't know how to gain the proper true quality happiness, peace and happiness. So they practice the wrong things. Here also there is another, because now it's almost 3. So it depends on whether we have more time to go on and on and on. But I want to make a point. So this whether we finish answering the question or not, I will leave something with you for you to go and
Excuse me,
think.
Nangi Andandi. Oh, lovely. It's nice.
So this Asathpurusha means a person who don't know good and the bad, right and the wrong, how to choose the good from the bad, how to choose the right from the wrong, and they can't see the consequences. So whatever they do, it leads to harm for themselves and also for the others. That is an Asathpurusha. So if you associate an Asathpurusha who don't know this Satpurusha Dharma and who just live for the sake of living because they were born here and not knowing any of these things, and they just live. They don't know about purifying the mind. They don't know about finding peace in the heart and living a life as a worthy person, a noble person, developing goodness and wisdom. Those are the Asathpurushas. So if you associate with an Asathpurusha, definitely their influence will influence you also to live like them. So what will happen? You will live a stressful life here and now. And as a result of you living this type of a stressful life here and now with these people's advice and with this influence, even after you die, we won't have a hope. They will destroy your life here and now, and also the life after. The snake will only destroy your life now, here and now. But the Asathpurusha has the power to destroy your life here and now, and even the life after. Now, the problem is, now this is the setting for this, the foundation. But now to go into the Satpurusha qualities and the Asathpurusha qualities, do we have time? It's up to you. Tell me. Oh, you can ask any questions you want to ask from this bit that I explained to you. And we can leave the rest for the next week, or if you are happy to stay a bit longer, we can proceed. What do you think? How do you feel? But first, let me ask you, if you want to ask any questions from this bit, you can ask questions.
If there are any questions, please unmute and ask now. I think we can go on, Bhikkhuni. Everybody, yeah, we are okay as long as it's okay with you. I know you have another program.
No, I'm okay. I'm
Yes.
okay, because it's a very good question, because if we don't know how to recognize this, it really destroys our life. We can do it to ourselves if we have the Asathpurusha qualities, and we also can do it to the others. And if you don't know how to recognize this even in others, that also can be very damaging. Okay, so is there anyone who want to ask any question before we proceed? Because it's important that you understand this. If you don't agree or don't understand, you're welcome to ask it openly, so I can explain it a bit more, because otherwise you won't understand what I have to say the next. So is there anything that was not clear?
Bhikkhuni, here, may I just clarify? The point is, we have to look within us, whether, first of all, whether these qualities are within us or not. Not really be bothered about others, isn't it?
Yes. That's what I was saying. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. So first we have to look within, and then like I said, when you see it within and when you understand these things, then it's easy for you to detect outside and also to protect yourself from the outside forces as well. But the more damage can be done not from the outside Asathpurusha, but the Asathpurusha living inside. Does anyone have a question now? All right. Okay, let's move forward then. Now put it in a simple way. Now Satpurusha means, Satpurusha is a good person. Good means, in a sense, they're acting, their thoughts, their speech, their actions, the way they live is good. Good means not with a selfish, self-centered way, but they are rich in good qualities. Like with all these paramis, they are very virtuous, they are ethical, they are moral, they are very generous, they have unconditional loving kindness, they can understand others, and they resonate with others' suffering, and they will lend their hand when they see others in suffering states. Like they will have this karuna, and also they will have the courage, the energy to let go of the bad, the wrong things, and also they will have the courage and the strength, the virya to develop what is good and to develop that. And also they are honest. They will work on seeing the truth and understanding the truth, and they will live a very honest life, and always working towards finding the truth. And they will also have this appreciation towards not following the karma, not going after the sensual pleasures, but putting effort to learning as much as you can, to put an effort to let go, not to get into this trap. And also they will have the qualities to purify their mind, work on purifying their mind, and also to work on developing the wisdom. We call the Dasaparamitas. I was just going through in the surface level all those qualities. That the Dasaparamitas, what we call the Sila and Dana. It starts from Dana, Sila, Nekama, Virya, and then Kanti, and Metta, Samadhi, Prajna, like that, Satya Paramita, like that. These are the 10 perfections, we call that. Means what makes a human being a perfect human being is those good qualities. So these qualities makes us a good person. So these are the qualities we have to pay attention to develop in us. These are the qualities that we also need to help children. You should give tuition to your children to develop these good qualities, because it's that good qualities that makes us a good human being. It's a good human beings that be able to live stress-free life peacefully and happily. But that's why I said first, this good and bad is a bit arguable, from different backgrounds, different cultures, different religions will have different standards on goodness and what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. For some people who we say something is good, we say killing animals is bad. We say it's violence, but in some religions it might be highly appreciated, and it's something like a ritual. They just do it, thinking it's a real good thing to please their gods. So what is bad for us, cruelty, is taken as something really good in another religion. So this is very relative from whatever the angle they look for. But when it comes to what leads to peace and what leads to this inner peace and happiness, there's no arguments, because you can't do things that will bring you emotions and bring you stress and say that is good, that is leading to peace and happiness. So that is the point that where we can really find whether something is really good or bad. You need to put it to your heart, and you have to apply it to the others and see, when you do this, is this going to bring you peace and happiness, and is that going to bring peace and happiness to the others? When it comes to the cruelty, like I told you, because it's important to understand this. When we employ cruelty, we know the person who is doing it also don't feel easy. There is something about it, even though you believe in the cruelty and you do it. There is something in there. If you saw the video footages of, forget about killing the animals, if you saw the footages of the suicide bombers, you will see how restless they were. Even though they believe in it, that they want to do it, to make someone happy, to please someone, or for them to have a better life after the death or whatever. They believe in something good will happen to them. So they believe in killing is good. That's why they do it. But you can see how restless they are at that point. Just note these things. So we can believe in whatever we want to believe, that a bad thing is good, but a bad thing is bad. The belief was a wrong belief. So we need to understand this. So how we really come to know what is really right, what is really a wrong belief, what is really good, what leads us, in the right direction with right, proper guidance, and what is a wrong belief. You apply it to your heart and see whether this will bring you peace and happiness, and whether this will bring peace and happiness to the others. Then you will know. We can't just bluff that. So what Buddha is pointing out is, Satpurushas know this. Asathpurushas don't know that. So Asathpurushas can believe in anything and everything, what they feel like, want to do, what they think will bring them happiness, they will go and do it, because they're so ignorant about the real peace and happiness. The real purity of the mind and wisdom, they even don't know that. So what they do it selfishly. For their selfish peace and happiness, they believe, if I do this, I can have this. If I do that, I can do this. I will get this, that, and the other, and I can live a good life. So these Asathpurushas are really blind. They don't know real good, real bad, what is really right, what is really wrong. They have no idea. So a blind person, blind in the Dhamma. Dhamma means this teaching about good and the bad. What we call the Buddha Dhamma is Sadharma. What is Sadharma? Sat means, Dharma is teachings. There's many teachings. Many teachings. But Sadharma means, Sat means the guidance, the teachings that leads you to be good, to be wise, to be peaceful, and to be happy in the true sense. That's why Buddha Dhamma is called Sadharma. So when someone follows Sadharma, it makes that person to be a Satpurusha, a Sat person, a good person. When you don't have that Sadharma as a guide in you, automatically what will happen in our gene works in the self-perseverance. So we all have this inherent thing about I, me, myself. It's all about my survival. This is how the gene works. When someone is born, all we are interested is about my survival. I want to live a good life. I want to live a happy life. So this selfishness, self-centeredness is ingrained in us. This is another thing you want to understand. I'm going to show this in a different angle now. There's many angles to look at this, and I'm going to take you in a different angle now. The selfishness and selflessness angle. So the selfishness is coming from our genes. So it's there. Now, in the scientific world, there is a term called the selfish gene, because they have understood that it is the gene that's prompting this for us to be selfish, because gene itself is interested in the survival. So inherently, we are very selfish people, very self-centered people. So in this selfishness, we look for peace and happiness in a very selfish way, ignoring the rest, ignoring everyone else. I want to be happy. When each and every individual try to live in this way, it is chaos. The world wars have to start, because I'm only interested about I, me, myself, and my happiness. In some people, it might extend to my people. Some people, when they develop their heart, it can develop to little bit too concern about my village. They are still selfish, but they will serve, having that selfish seed in here, but still they will work for the betterment of their family, and some will extend it to the village, some will extend it to the country. This is my country, so I must look after the country and protect. So still with that selfish, self-centered, they will extend up to the country, and they will care for the fellow country beings. Some, very rarely, will develop their heart to the level they will just go beyond the limits of I, my people, my village, my country, but they will serve the whole world. Regardless whether they are relatives to you or not, whether they are in your race or not, whether they are in your religion or not, they will serve the humanity, and not just the humanity, but they will broaden their heart to all beings. Not just even in this world, they will develop their selflessness, extending to looking after the welfare and well-being of all beings without limits. But you can see this is with training only this happens. Only very few will reach that outer boundaries and to even go beyond the boundaries. In today's time, very few even will think about their village. Forget about the country, the village. And a lot of us think about our family. That's where a lot of people are bogged down. So selfishly, we do things to everyone to be happy. But now the selfish is becoming so thick. There is more and more tendency only to think about I and me and myself and only my happiness. So if I believe my happiness comes from taking drugs, drinking all this alcohol and liquor, and having one packet of cigarettes a day, and by gambling, I even go to that extent. So I use all the money that is there in the house to feed the children and the wife and everyone else's welfare and well-being. I use it for my happiness. I go and use that to go and gamble. I go and use it to buy liquor. I go and use it to use the drugs. Why? I want to be happy. When I use that, I can be happy. Who cares about whether the children eat or not? Who cares whether the wife or the husband eats or not? Who cares? You talk to the children today. This really has a concern on me. How the more the adults are, more they becoming more and more selfish and self-centered and just driven by the gene. We are planting that to our children. You talk to a child today and ask them to do something or ask about something, or, you know, those days we had a book in our school. We have to write the good things we do. And we have to go and report once a week what good deed we did. Either we have, you know, I remember writing, you know, once when there was a blind person trying to cross the world, even though I was a little child, I helped to cross the road. Later I got admonished by my mom because I wasn't at an age where I could myself alone could cross the road. But I remember, you know, doing that, and I wrote it in the book. That's how she got to know I have crossed the road. And but my teacher appreciated it. But what I was trying to say, like that, we had to write the good deeds that we do throughout the week, and we have to go and show the teacher. So we were taught as, you know, your life, part of your life is you have to serve others. You have to dedicate for the others' welfare and well-being. You have to share what you have and things like that. And they showed us that we have to care for the others. We were brought up not to just live selfishly, but always taught you have to think about the others and live. You have to think. You have to you know, serve others. So like that, it was kind of in the education system at that time. When you bring up a child, you install that program in their mind, where you are not just for yourself, you have to look after others. That's why you learn. That's why you have to learn. That's why you have come to the school. So you learn, you develop. So then when you find your talents and you polish your talent and you go and serve the world to make it a better place. This is how we were taught to get rid of our little children are selfish. We are selfish. So we were taught to how to get rid of that selfishness, and we were taught, you know, why you are here in this school is to learn and to be a good person, and then to go and serve the world so we can make this place a better place. But today, what the adults do, they want to send their children to the best school. They want to send their children to the 100 tuition masters. Why? We want to make sure they get a good job. They become a doctor or an engineer or so-and-so, or even go to the moon. I don't have a problem with parents really, you know, teaching them to be this, be that, be that. That's good. But the cause is the problem. Why they want them to be that? That's what concerns me. So what they tell the kids is, the only profession that will be left in the future is the doctors. Everyone is sick. So if you become a doctor, you will have a job until you die. So you won't be poor. You will be very rich. You can earn a lot of money. Be an engineer. You can earn a lot of money. So they put this money into their children's head. The parents work from morning to the night to earn money, because they believe it is by having the money they can, you know, use that money to get satisfy their whatever the desires they come. They get in their head, and whatever the desires they come to fulfill that, we need money. So we work from the morning to the night to earn the money, and we put our kids through this so much pressure and send them to the tuition. Why? You have to pass. Why? You have to go to the university. Why? You have to get a good job. Why? You need to, success is you have to earn a lot of money. So when they are just, scrolling, and when they stand up, they send to the children to the tuition. But at that time, your time and our time, it didn't happen like that. We don't have to go through so much stress to polish up our talents to serve the world. First, one has to be relaxed to serve the world. How can a tense person, stressed person go and serve the world? No way. We have to look after the stressed person. This is what's happening now. In the universities, forget about the universities, let's come to the school. In this Australia, 1 in 10 children are on antidepressants. And you talk to the children and you try to teach them how to do good, how to be good, how we were taught. How we were taught to grow up and look forward to serve the world. We were never taught about the money. That money was never put into the mind. It wasn't in the equation. It was about you polishing your talents and you offering a good job, you doing a good service, so we can make this place a better place. And we never had strikes. It's a shame that teachers go and strike. Shame if the doctors strike. Those professions were the highly regarded professions, as they were seen as the angels on earth working for others' welfare and well-being, through day and night. When someone leaves a hospital at that time, people would worship their feet and go, "Dostara mahattara, dostara nonata budu bava labenna oni kiyala." Because they saw their genuineness, they saw their heart, they saw their loving kindness, compassion. They saw that these beings were totally dedicated for the patient's welfare and well-being. They were not working for a salary. They were not working for commission, nothing. They became a doctor because they were interested in healing someone. They were interested in helping someone to elevate their suffering. That's how we were taught. So it is the person who had the heart to help someone who is, elevate their suffering, became the doctor. It wasn't about the money to become a successful person, to get a BMW, to get a Audi, to get a Ferrari, to build a mansion, that you want to go and become a doctor, that you want to push your child to do that because you don't have that and you want the child to, realize your dream. We never did that. So today what's happening, because the meaning of living is lost, they are breeding the selfishness into the kids, and you talk to a kid and ask them something, the motto, who cares? I recently had this experience, when the parents have problems with the kids, they bring the kids. So I would talk and ask, this is this Buddha, this is that. How about if we do this? Why don't you think about other? Who cares? The exact expression, who cares? So now I see this is their motto. They don't care. It wasn't taught. It's not built into the program now. It's all about surviving. It's all about I. It's all about me. It's all about myself. So you wait and see what will happen in the future. You are talking about everything about you having the trust and the faith about, bringing up the children, and that is our future. You have these selfish children, coming into the professions where, that you think these people will look after us when we get old. No way you'll be able to close your eyes peacefully and happily. This whole system, the human beings created this to lessen the stress. When we are young, we are energetic, we can do things, but when we get old, we lose the energy. So we need someone to care for us. It's not in the animal world. Animals don't care for their elderly, don't care for their frail, don't care for their parents. The young will live with their energy, and the minute that when someone gets sick or old, another one with lot of power and lot of energy will prey on that for their survival. This is the animal realm. This is how it runs. The able, the one who have the power and the energy and everything, will prey on the weak for their survival. Now, when we lose developing our human qualities, this is exactly what will prevail on the human society as well. When you develop your mind, more and more we develop, more and more the able will look after the poor, the weak. They will sacrifice, they will devote their life for the welfare and well-being of this poor and the weak and whoever needs their help. So that's why people went into politics at that time. That's why someone went and did become a doctor. And, you know, so they were totally dedicated to look after others who needed their thing, but they never used or abused the weak people or the suffering people or the poor people or the ones who are under their guardianship for their welfare and well-being and for happiness. But when someone's mind is not there, when they haven't developed their mind, when the mind is in that gene state still, stuck in that, you know, the original state, so selfish, then we will display animal qualities. So we will have to live like then in the animal realm, where you get old, so you are going to be frail, but you won't have any people to look after you. They will be only interested even to get what you have, and if possible, even to get you to work, and if possible, you know, to use you. So there won't be any chance to die peacefully. This is what's happening today. Those days, at you know, in our Asian cultures, we were to retire at 55. So at prime of the life, you have worked, you have served, and then you retire by 55. And then what you do, you don't now selfishly work, but you dedicate your whole life to serve others for free. Retire උනාට පස්සේ තමයි ශ්‍රමදාන ලෑස්ති කරන්නේ, පාරවල් හදනවා, පන්සල් හදනවා, පල්ලි හදනවා. You get even the young ones to come and join you, and they lived a very relaxed life, and they proceeded towards developing their insight, developing their goodness and wisdom. අධ්‍යාත්මය වඩන්න කාලේ ගත්තා. 55 retire වෙලා. But now in Australia, I heard the law is now they are bringing the laws. I think now you have to work until 65, but they are bringing the law you have to work until 70. So when do you have time now to rest, to get ready to die peacefully? You have to keep on earning, keep on earning. You have to be bringing the money to the economy. And not only that, now that the young is so weak because they are not put in the right track, that they are not trained to get rid of the selfishness, but to how to be selfless and how to, you know, develop these good human qualities that make you a Asathpurushaya, and that you become an asset to the society, that you become someone who can serve the society to make this a better place. Instead, now that the kids are put through in this wrong way, where they are totally taught only just the worldly things, no touch, no teachings about how to develop the spirituality, how to develop the goodness and wisdom. So they get bogged down in this, selfishness, in the self-centeredness. All they do is about I, me, myself. I want to play games, I play the games. I watch a TV whole day, I watch a TV whole day. I want to play, I play. I don't want to help, I don't want to do this, do that. So that's how they are grown up today, only minding their own business. And you expect them to become, adults and serve the world? No. By the time when they reach the university level, 3 in 1 are on antidepressants. Now you have a doctor, you have an engineer, you have a whatever, who have a mental problem. That means who have so much stress, who is living so unhappy. When someone is so stressed and unhappy, you're not interested in others' happiness and peace and happiness. How could you? When you don't have that, how could you give that to another being? How could you think even of that? How could you wish even may others be well and happy when you are so much engulfed in misery and suffering? So they will not be able to serve. Instead, that all parents will have to look after the stressed, look after the mentally weak people, children, and they won't be able to retire, not even 70, 80, 90, they will have to work. Because the youth now can't take responsibilities. Their mind is so weak, they can't face a problem. They're so stressed to the level, they can't continue with anything. They can't have relationships with people. They can't, because they're only in the machine. They're only in their own emotional worlds. They don't know how to talk, how to relate to, how to build a constructive relationship, even at school or uni or at work or with society. Nothing. It's all about I, me, myself. So they are not interested in even coming out from their room. You watch these things. It will be very difficult you to bring them out from their room. That's their whole world. Because that's enough. Yeah, that's good enough for me. My food comes, everything is there for me. I am happy. That is their happiness. But when they come out, when they have to face the world, the little thing that comes, the problems and all that, we don't have to talk about vicissitudes. Even just a slight problem, someone says you are so and so, you are like this, you are fat, you are ugly, you didn't do this, you're naughty. That's enough for them to go and suicide. And sometimes it's not even someone who they know, someone from somewhere they even haven't met, through the internet or the Facebook or Instagram or from something, someone had put a comment, and here we have a suicide. So to that level, their minds shake. Why? They're so weak. Why? It is self-centered, this self-centeredness. So when we are selfish, this is what's going to happen to us. It weakens us to the level we will not care for anyone at all. Forget about the all beings, forget about the world, forget about the country, forget about the village, even forget about the family. It will come only to I, me, myself. And that way, we'll never be able to live happy. Because when we have a bunch of selfish people, they are only interested about themselves. And you can't have a smooth running system. And more you get old, you hope, systems will be there to look after you. No. And you see now when the COVID happens, now you will see this reality of we not developing the Sat qualities, we not developing to become Asathpurushas, and you all have bred Asathpurushas, what will happen? You will hear. So when we have a child, it's not just about vadala nikan inna baya, hadanna one lamiyek. Not just giving birth to a child, that even the animals do. Giving birth, that is part of these genes propagating. But after you propagate, you must take the responsibility to make that person to be a good person, a good human person, good human being. Only then the parents' duties are fulfilled, successful. Successful parent means they should develop the goodness and the wisdom in the children. බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ පෙන්නනවා ඇස් දෙක පාදන්න ඕනේ කියලා. මේ ඇස් දෙකේ කටු ගහලා හාරලා පාදන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. They will start to see the world from that. But you need to develop the real eyes, the goodness and the wisdom. If we don't develop this goodness and the wisdom, what comes as a result is an Asathpurushaya. This is what's happening. If we neglect, if we have not done our job properly, what you have brought to the world is bunch of Asathpurushas, and then no one can live in peace and happiness. This is what's happening today in the world. So Asathpurusha means, in one way, when we look at from this selfish and the selfless angle, selfish people. Selfish people will only think about themselves. So everything, their thoughts, their speech, their action, and everything is revolving around themselves. It's only about interest about they wanting to be peaceful and happy. And how they are going to get it is by through pleasing the senses as much as they can. So they will spend the money, they will spend the time, they will spend anything and everything at the expenses of everyone else, just for them to find happiness. And you try to live with these Asathpurushas, it's very difficult. In another way, how someone ends up becoming an Asathpurusha. Slowly, the Purusha will become Asathpurusha when you don't install that Satpurusha program. You don't get a Asathpurusha, full-grown Asathpurusha in one day. Slowly, it happens. But when you see the real colors, too late. අවුරුදු 16 17 18 20 වුණාට පස්සේ අපි ළඟට එක්කන් ආවට it's too late. You haven't installed the program when they were young. You know, neurologists or neuroscientists are saying you have to install whatever the program you want to install in a child from the birth till 4 years old. They will take 100% what you install in them, what you teach them. 100% they will take that. From 4 years to 10 years, they will take about 50%, because now they are starting to think. They will think and පෙරලා තමයි ගන්න. කැමති දේ ගන්නවා, අකමැති දේවල් විසි කරනවා. So you only have a 50% chance to install things up to 10. After that, you got not much hold. They will run their life according to the program you installed when they were very young. This is why it's very important to know these things and, you know, bring up the children in that way. So you can do your duty properly. So the future generation becomes Satpurushas. And when there is Satpurushas, you can live a peaceful and a happy life. But we don't do our duty properly. We only go after money, working from morning to night, night to morning, and we just leave our children for the nanny or the daycare or this, that, and the other. And you even don't know how they've been trained to think, speak, act. When you come home also, you don't have time. You're on the TV, you're on the phone, you're playing games, you're on the computer. When child asks a question, don't ask me. This is how we live today. So the child just grows on its own like a tree. No nourishment, no nutrition being put. So after they grow and they start to fly, you start to see the color. Then you say, you come running to the temple. Ayyo, mage puta kudu gano are ekayal vela me ekayal vela anna horakam karanna killa. Araka karno meka karno hari selfish gedarata udaw karanne ammata bayinwa tattata gahano. Don't come after that time. It's too late. So we need to do our duty when we can, when we have the chance. So anyway, it went into a different angle, but anyway, so the message here is don't breed Asatpurushas. So you have to take responsibilities. If you have a child, make sure you install the Satpurusha qualities in them. Satkama nikang enne naha, unless they have developed it from their past life. And you only need to give a small touch. But a lot of the people, there are some human beings who come from hell realms or who come from the animal realms. So they have a lot of these animal qualities in them. Vanduru gatiya tiyena, buru gatiya tiyena, gom gatiya tiyena, harak gatiya tiyena, balu gatiya tiyena. ඒ ඔක්කොම ගති තියෙනවා මෙතන ඇතුලේ. කොටියා ගතිය තියෙනවා. So then the parents' duty is to install the human program, overriding that evolutionary gene program, and you have to install the proper human program. How to develop now, how to go beyond these emotional qualities. It's the animals that gets dominated by the emotions. So now we have to teach them how to be patient, how to think about others, how to show this unconditional loving kindness, how to do things without expecting anything back in return, how to be compassionate, how to have the altruistic joy, how to be happy about others' success, how to stay equanimous. At sometimes we have to be in that position when we can't do anything else. So you have to have a stable mind. When you see the problems, you can't do anything else. You just can't, cry and go, run up and down and jump up and down. You just have to come to that equanimous place. So you need to teach these things to the kids, because it's not there in the gene if they're coming from a lower realm. So that now they were lucky enough to come to the human realm. We have to install it. You have to work hard. So if you are a parent, you need to work hard compassionately, loving kindly, with compassion, with patience, with all the effort, energy and effort to bring them, to make them a Satpurusha. If you have Satpurusha children, you will be able to die peacefully. But if we don't do our duty, then the first thing is අපිට මේක කැරකිලා එනවා. ඉතින් අපි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ අපේ අසත්පුරුෂකම් තියෙනවා නම් තමයි අපිට මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැතුව අපි ළමයින්ටත් ඔහේ අසත්පුරුෂ විදියට හැදෙන්න දෙනවා. ටියුෂන් ගන්න දෙන්නේ singing, dancing, netball, cricket and all sorts of things. ඒකකින්වත් මිනිස්සෙක්ගේ ළමයාගේ emotions නැති කරගන්න උදව්වක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ළමයා හොඳ වෙන්න ඒක උදව්වක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හොඳ කරන්න නම් සද්ධර්මය උගන්වන්න. How to manage your emotions, how to purify your emotions from these, how to get rid of these selfish thoughts, how to get rid of this self-centeredness, how to develop a broader mind, broader heart, how to become selfless. So first we have to develop that. First we need to see the Asatpurusha in us, that we were ignorant of these things too. That's why if you have the kid in that type, just know that they have mimicked. So then look inside, look within. අපිට වැරදුනා. එහෙනම් දැන් ඒක හදාගන්න. මේක තමයි හදාගන්න තියෙන මඟ. මොකද්ද? සද්ධර්මය. Pay attention to the Saddharma and live with the Saddharma. So don't give in to the emotions. So you can't control the emotions if you don't know how to handle your thoughts. So for you to take something home, Buddha is pointing out what makes an Asatpurusha and Asatpurusha is these thoughts. Thoughts වලින් පටන් ගන්න වැඩේ. Thoughts තමයි develop any emotions වලට. මේ emotions, when you develop it over and over and over, they become habits. The habits make a character. එමයි එක වෙන්නේ, මේක පටන් ගන්න thought එකෙන්. So අසත්පුරුෂයා කියන character එක බිහි වෙන්නේ අසත්පුරුෂ thoughts වලින්. මොනවද අසත්පුරුෂ thoughts? Looking for sensual pleasures. They are called the kama vitarka. The vitarka, the thoughts on wanting to please your senses. Vyapada vitarka. The thoughts about the ill will. Hinsa vitarka. Thoughts about cruelty. There is a sutta called Dvedhāvitakkasutta Sutta. Now to take this session to the next one, next week, have this sutta ready. It's in the Majjhima Nikaya. It's called Dvedhāvitakkasutta Sutta. I think not just the Buddhist, every human being should know this sutta. So they can get to know about their mind, what's happening in the mind. So in that sutta, Buddha is pointing out there is two types of thoughts, good thoughts and bad thoughts. We call them wholesome thoughts and unwholesome thoughts. So this unwholesome thought is a thought about you selfishly wanting to please your senses. So developing without a limit, endless, these sensual thoughts, kama vitarka. Then the vyapada vitarka. When you face things that you don't like, the ill will comes. When you lose what you like, the ill will comes. Like that, the ill thoughts also comes in your day-to-day life when you're facing certain things. Then if you don't take care of these ill thoughts, you let it grow, this ill thought will develop into anger, into hatred, into anxiety worries, into frustration. You don't take care of it from that stage, it will go deeper into the level, it will develop into cruel thoughts, hinsa vitarka, where you will start to think, honda පාඩමක් උගන්නන්න ඕනේ. මං කරන්නම්කො හොඳ වැඩ කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. So it goes into the cruelty, either in the nice way or the ugly way. You start to seek pleasure, happiness by employing cruelty. So these thoughts give you cruel, wicked happinesses. Starting from this looking for sensual pleasure, developing this kama vitarka, it goes into the vyapada vitarka and then to the hinsa vitarka, because it will lead from one to another, seeking more and more happiness in the wrong way. So you're going to get addicted to find happiness by only watching the TV, only if you can drink a cigarette, only if you can drink alcohol, only if you can take drugs, only if you can listen to music, only if you can eat nice food. So like that, it will start from there. And now when you can't do it, you are going to get angry. Or if someone takes away that, you will start to get angry. You will develop ill thoughts. Or when you have to face without control, you will have to face the things that you don't like also. When you face things that you don't like and it doesn't agree with you, you will get angry. And then you start to indulge in the anger. And it becomes a normal thing in life. To anything and everything, angry. Why? Now you're kind of, the system is finding kind of a kick in that. I won't say you're getting happy from that, but the system is getting used to it. Otherwise, why you're getting angry all the time? Because you're indulging in it. You're not seeing the suffering that comes from that. You're not seeing the stress that is coming from that. But somehow you're enjoying it. If we don't enjoy something, do you think we will keep doing it? We won't. Why do you keep doing it? Because you enjoy. So we start to enjoy this ill thought and the emotion that produces from that ill thought. So it becomes normal now. Getting angry is normal. We say, no, it's not normal. It's not normal. If someone gets angry and they don't know how to manage, they say it's a mental problem. And you have to get anger management. So they have recognized it as a mental problem. It is a mental problem. Your ill thoughts are going wild without control. So it will come to a stage me kama vitarke make a bahino vyapada vitarketa. Vyapada vitarketa bahapu hati, we start to enjoy in these nasty qualities, nasty emotions. That's why we keep on letting it develop in us. All this anger, irisya, vaira, krodha, kuhakakang, anxiety, worries, frustration. Kupita bhava tamai. Ekeka branches, subtly different. The hormones are different. That's all. but it is a shaking of the mind. From these ill thoughts, if you don't take care of these emotions from then, it will go down deep. You wanting to employ these cruel things. So the cruel thoughts will come and you will start to act with that. So you become a very cruel, nasty person. You might start with practical jokes where you put the other person in a hard condition and you laugh and become happy. We get two other people to fight and we go, yay! We get this two an innocent cocks, you know, the kukullu. Gila kukullu denneka porallana danada. Eka bala arun denna mara gannawa. Metana satutu wenawa. Koma karala. So this is developing the cruelty in us, where we start to gain joy from seeing others suffering. And so the problem is this does not lead to peace or happiness within for oneself or even to the others. So මේ cruelty එකට බහිනකොට ඔය අහිංසක විදියට ඔය cruelty එක enjoy කරනවා වගේ නෙමෙයි, it will develop into worst stages, where if you don't like someone, you will do things to make sure to get rid of them nicely. හිමීට යටින් එක්ක මූණට දෙකෙන් එකකින් බුරලා බැරි නම් ගොරවලා බැරි නම් විරෝලා බැරි නම් බැනලා බැරි නම් ගාලත් බැරි නම් මරණ තැනට මෙනවා. මෙතනින්නම් අහු වෙන විදිහට මෙතනින්නම් මැරුවොත් අහු වෙනවා නම් මිසයිල් එක හදනවා. මෙතනින්නම් ප්‍රෙස් කරාම එහා පැත්තේ වැටෙන්න කවුද එව්වේ කියලා හොයාගන්න බැහැ. ඒක අපි ළමයාට උගන්වනවා යුනිවර්සිටි එකට ගිහිල්ලා මිසයිල් එක හදන ක්‍රමය උගන්වනවා. What are these? This developing the cruel thought. Otherwise, why do you need a missile? It is to fulfill your cruel thoughts. But මෙන්න මේක තමයි මේ භයානකකම. ලෝකේ තියෙන භයානකම දේ තමයි තමුන්ගේ මනස මේ හට ගන්න මේ කිලුට සිතිවිලි අඳුර ගන්න බැරි එක, තෝර ගන්න බැරි එක. Because when you allow to develop it, it will develop and develop and develop to the level it will bring stress, it will bring depression, it will bring mental illness, it will bring suicide, if not misery here and now, and even the life after. ඔක තමයි case එක. ඒතර ඒ සූත්‍ර බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ පෙන්නලා දෙනවා there is the opposite side of this also. There is nekkhamma vitarka, avyapada vitarka, avihinsa vitarka. So these are the vitarkas that if you want to become a Asathpurusha, you have to practice. So you will see naturally when you face the world, when you have to communicate with the world, naturally we are living with this. Kama vitarka, vyapada vitarka and hinsa vitarka. ඔවා තමයි naturally දැන් අපි මේ පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔය වගේ interpret කරනවා, interpret කරපු හැටි එන්නේ මොනවද? Full blown emotions. ආසාවල්, රාගය, තරහව, iriසියා, වෛර, ක්‍රෝධ, බය, anxiety, worries. මෙවුව නිසා තමයි මේ විඳවන්නේ. මේ අසත්පුරුෂ මේ සිතිවිලි නිසා තමයි අපි අන්තිමට ඒ ඉමෝෂනල් වෙලා අන්තිමට ඒ ඉමෝෂන්ස් වලින් ඒව එක්ස්ප්‍රෙස් කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා හොඳම හොඳ අසත්පුරුෂයෙක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. මේ අසත්පුරුෂකම හිත ඇතුලෙන් පටන් ගන්නෙ. හිත ඇතුලෙන් පටන් අරගෙන ඒක පාලනය කරේ නැත්නම් කටිනුත් එළියට පයින්නවා, ක්‍රියාවෙනුත් එළියට පයින්නවා. අන්තිමට as a result of this we will end up in hell realms. ඔක තමයි වෙන්නේ ඉතින්. මෙතනත් දුක් විඳලා අන්තිමට මේ ලැබුණු මනුස්ස ජීවිතෙන් මේ වැටිච්ච වලින් දුකෙන් මිදලා ගොඩ යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක පැත්තක තියලා තව යටට ගිහිල්ලා එරෙනවා උඩට එන්නත් බැරි වෙන තරමට. ඒක මහා අපරාධයක්. ඒත් මිනිස්සු වුණාම තේරුම් ගන්න මෙතන තමයි වැදගත්ම පොයින්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ. මේ සිතිවිලි අපිට හරි ස්වභාවිකයි මේ ඥානත් එක්ක. Because it's all self-centered. It's all these are all selfish thoughts. So this is why අපිට හරි වීරියක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. මෙවුවා අඳුරගත්තාම තේරුම් ගත්තාම මේ සද්ධර්මයෙන් කියලා දෙන්නේ ඒකයි. ඊට පස්සේ වීරිය වඩන්න ඕනේ. මේ තමුන්ගේ හිත දිහා බල බල මේ එන කිලුට සිතුවිලි අයින් කරන්න. අන්න එතකොට තමයි ඇඟ ඇතුලේ තියෙන අසත්පුරුෂ ගතිය ඇති ඇත ඇර අපි පිරිසිදු වෙන්නේ. හොඳ අය බවට පත් වෙන්නේ. සත්පුරුෂයෝ බවට පත් වෙන්නේ. එතකොට තමුන් මේක දැනගෙන තේරුම් ගත්තාම තමා තුලින් මේක දැක්කහම අන්න පේනවා අනික් අයගේ මොකද්ද දුවන ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක කියලා. වචනේ ඇහෙනකොට පේනවා මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක අසද්ද සද්ද කියලා. වැඩේ දිහා බලන් ඉන්නකොට පේනවා මේක අසද්ද සද්ද කියලා. ජීවත් වෙන විදිය බලද්දි පේනවා මේ මිනිහා අසත්පුරුෂයේද සත්පුරුෂයේද කියලා. එතකොට තමුන් දන්නවා ආශ්‍රය කළ යුතුද නැද්ද? So this is not an easy thing. ඉස්සර නම් අපේ තිබුණ body language කියලා දෙයක්. ඒ body language එකට එන්නේ ඕකේ. මනසේ වැඩ කරන ඒවා තමයි අර එළියට පයින්නේ. මනසයි පාලනය කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් මනස තේරුම් ගත්තොත් අනිත් අයව තේරුම් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒතර ඇතුලේ අසත්පුරුෂයාගෙන් පරිස්සම් වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. එළිය අසත්පුරුෂයාගෙනුත් ඒහා සමානවම පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. අසේවනාච බාලාණන් කිව්වේ ඒකයි. ඇතුලයි එළියයි දෙකම අයින් කරගන්න ඕනේ. එළිය විතරක් අයින් කරලා ඇතුලේ බ්‍රීඩ් කරුවොත් තේරුමක් නැහැ නේ, වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. We are one of them. So එතකොට අපි ඒකත් අයින් කරගන්න ඕනේ. මේක අයින් කරන ගමන් එළියේ ඉන්න අසත්පුරුෂව ආශ්‍රය කරන්නත් එපා. එයාලවත් අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකද otherwise their influence, if you are a weak person, their influence will take you back to where they are. ආයි වලේ වැටෙනවා. ආයි මඩේ වැටෙනවා. ඒ නිසා we need to keep them in hands distance. කවුරු හරි කෙනෙක් අසත්පුරුෂයෙක් කියලා තේරුණාම you have to make sure that you keep hands distance. තරහ වෙන්න කියන එක නෙමෙයි මේ කියන්නේ. You have to know your limits. Only when they need help, you go and help them. But you have to know they are very stupid people. They are very people with very little goodness and wisdom. Very foolish people. And only when they are good, when you are in their good books, they will like you. The minute that they start don't like you, you have to expect I won't go there. ඒ නිසා තමයි ඈත දුරින් තියලා තියන්න ඕනේ. Otherwise it will bring you hurt. It will bring damage to you. It will not just bring hurt and harm and suffering here and now, even the life after. So Buddha is pointing out what we have to do is develop the opposite of this. Kama vitarka opposite එක තමයි nekkama vitarka. Nekkama vitarka means renouncing of that, wanting these sensual pleasures all the time. Trying to find happiness by using these sensual pleasures. Sensual thoughts develop කරන එක අතාරින්න පටන් ගන්න. ඒකේ තියෙන දෝෂ දකින්න ගන්න ඕනේ. ආදීනවේ දකින්න ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ කාමයට එක්කම යන්න හදන එකේ තියෙන දෝෂ දකින්න ගන්න ඕනේ. මේකෙන් ගියොත් ස්ට්‍රෙස් එක මිසක් වෙන ගැලවීමක් නැහැ කියලා දකින්න ගන්න ඕනේ. Opposite of the ill thought, the vyapada thought is called the avyapada vitarka. Avyapada means maitriya. Instead of going in the ill way, you're going in the smooth way. The friendly way, the accepting way, with unconditional loving kindness, metta way, maitriya. කොහොමද? අර තනි දරුවෙක් ඉන්න අම්මා කෙනෙක් කොහොමද දරුවා ගැන හිතන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම මේ ළමයාට හොඳක් වෙන්න ඕනේ, හොඳක් වෙන්න ඕනේ, නරකක් නපුරක් වෙන්න එපා කියලා. ඒ වගේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. කවුරු හරි හොඳ කරත් නරක කරත්. We have to have a pure heart, genuinely pure heart, even to the person who is wanting to see your downfall, who is trying to hurt you, who is we call an enemy. We shouldn't become an enemy to them. Our heart must be at peace with metta. Our heart must have that same thought that you would have for your child. Even though you know they are trying to hurt you, you have to develop the metta. Sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitātta. You have to think, අනේ ඉතින් මේ මනුස්සයාගේ මෝඩකමට නෙමෙයි අයාට තරහ ගිහිල්ලා ඉඳන අයාගේ අද වැරදි ඇඳින් වැරදි පැත්තෙන් නැගිටලා ඒ කාගේ හරි කියන බොරුවක් අහලා ඒකට කමන්නේ එයා දවසක ඇත්ත තෝරගත්තා. May he be well and happy. May she be well and happy. May they be well and happy. Sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitātta. We can't afford to have an ill thought towards the ill act they did. You have to someone turn it around 360 degrees. And you have to go in the other way, reorientate, not to follow them. not to follow that act, and not to allow the mind to think in the thoughts in that way, then you also become one of them. Ill thoughts වලින් ගැලවෙන්න ඕනේ. Ill thoughts ගලෝ ඒක අතහැර ඒ හිත ව්‍යාපාදයෙන් මුදව ගන්න එක තමයි මෛත්‍රිය කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේ හිංසා විතර්කේ opposite එක තමයි අවිහිංසා විතර්කය. අවිහිංසාව කියන්නේ කරුණාව. Instead of you trying to find joy in others' misery and suffering, we become very sensitive to that, and we try to help, to elevate their status, to help them, to free them from that suffering. And there is two falls in the karuna. One aspect is that, and the other one is මේ හිංසා විතර්කයේ තියෙන අනිත් එක තමයි අනික් අයගේ දියුණුව දකින්න බැරි. ඉරිසියාව වෙනවා. අතුලෙන් එනවා නිකන්. මේවා හරි subtle. ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් එක හම්බුනොත් අල්ලපු ගෙදර ළමයාට, හරි යාළුවගේ ළමයාට හරි ඇතුලෙන් එනවා. මගේ ළමයාට හම්බුන්නේ නැහැනේ බලන්න. What is in there? You can't rejoice in the good thing that happened to the other person. So this is called jealousy. අර්මිනියටනේ ස්වීප් එක ඇදුනේ බලන්නකො මට ඇදුන්නේ නැහැනේ මම හිතට ගන්න. What is in there? අරක රිජොයිස් කරන්න බෑ. අනේ සාදු සාදු එයා කරපු හොඳ කර්මයකට ඵලයකට ඒ ළමයා පාඩම් කරා මෙයාලා කරන හොඳ කර්මයට තමයි එහෙමුනේ. සාදු සාදු සාදු. May they get more and more. May they find more and more. May they be more and more successful. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි jealousy කියන්නේ. එතකොට කරුණාව කියනකොට ඔන්න ඔය aspect එකක් තියෙනවා. jealousy එක නැතිකම. අනික් අයගේ දියුණුව දරන්න පුළුවන්. අනික් අයගේ දියුණුව හමුවේ තමුන් සතුටු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. සාදු 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 කියලා. ඒවට කම්ප්ලේන් කරන්නෙත් නැහැ, තරග කරන්න යන්නෙත් නැහැ, ñරුයුරු ගන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒක අර දරන්න බැරි ගතිය, ඒ කුණු ගතිය අතාරින්න ගන්නවා. මේ සිතිවිලි තේරුම් ගන්න එක හරි subtle වැඩක්. This is the first meditation you have to do to be able to learn, look into your own mind and learn when the Asathpurushas are Raja Karanakota. You have to see this has become a kingdom of the Asathpurushas. Now I am a Asathpurusha. පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. අසත්පුරුෂ වචන එළියට පණි, ක්‍රියාත් එළියට යයි. You have to be very careful. So you have to quickly cleanse the mind and get rid of them. Then you become a Satpurusha. ඒක තමයි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. සත්පුරුෂ වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? අර එන කිලුටු සිතිවිලි වල opposite එක වඩන්න ගන්න ඕනේ. අන්න අසත්පුරුෂයා සත්පුරුෂ කරන්නේ මේ සද්ධර්මයේ. කොහොමද? අර කිලුටු සිතිවිලි දැකපු හැටි අතහැරියා. ඒකේ opposite එක වැඩුවා. කාමයේ වෙනුවට නෙක්ඛම්මයේ වඩන. ව්‍යාපාද වෙනුවට අව්‍යාපාද වඩන. හිංසාව වෙනුවට අවිහිංසාව වඩනවා. අතෑරීම මෛත්‍රිය කරුණාව. එතකොට අපේ හදවත පිරිසිදු වෙනවා. It will purify your mind. These are the thoughts that will take you to the selfless realm. selfish කමේ ඉන්නකන් තමයි selfish ඒ self centeredness එකත් එක්ක එන thoughts තමයි ඔය මටම කරගන්න හදන එක. මටයි මගේ අයටයි. කාමේ, ව්‍යාපාදේ, හිංසාව. මේ selfish ගතිය දුරු කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය දේ තමයි selfless වෙන්න නම් you have to overturn these thoughts. ඒ අපිව selfless වෙනවා මෙන්න මේ කාමයෙන් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ කාමයේ දුරු කරන්න ගන්න ඕනේ. කාමයට තියෙන ඇල්ම. ඒක දුරු වෙන්න මේ මමත්වය ඒ ගතිය දුරු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. selfish ගතිය අඩු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි rejoice කරන්න ගන්නවා මෛත්‍රී කරුණාව. ඒව කරන්න කාමයේ අතරින් ව්‍යාපාදේ අඩු වෙනවා. ව්‍යාපාදේ අඩු වෙන්න cruelty එක අඩු වෙනවා. හිංසා විතර්ක අඩු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. එහෙම කරන්න emotions අඩු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. පංච නීවරණ අයින් වෙන්න ගන්නවා. පංච නීවරණ පළවෙනිම ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි කාමච්ඡන්ද ව්‍යාපාද. කාම විතර්ක ව්‍යාපාද විතර්ක වලින් ඇති කරන ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රශ්න තමයි කාමච්ඡන්ද ව්‍යාපාද. ඔතනින් තමයි බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නේ පටන් ගන්න. Sensual desires and the hatred. ඒක පටන් ගන්න මේ thoughts වලින්. එතකොට මේව thoughts ටික purify කරනකොට අන්න අර emotions අඩු වෙන්න ගන්නවා. ඒවත් බහලා යන්න ගන්නවා. එතකොට ඔන්න අපි සත්පුරුෂයෝ බවට පත් වෙනවා. ඉතින් tamun දැනගන්න දැන් tamunට නිතර තරහ යන කෙනෙක් නම්, නිතර anxiety worries එනවා නම්, නිතර දුක් වෙනවා නම්, නිතර තනිකම් පාළු දැනෙනවා නම්, නිතර එක එක ආසාවල් එනවා නම්, ඒක හොඳ දේවල් නෙමෙයි. මේ එන්නේ emotionally ජීවත් වෙනවා නම් that's not good. You need to think, I'm getting very selfish. These are selfish qualities. I must work on this now. මොකද ඕක ගෙනිහිල්ලා නතර කරන්නේ තත්ත ස්ට්‍රෙස් එකකින්, ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එකකින්, මෙන්ටල් ඉල් වෙලා, මෙන්ටල් ඉල් කියන්නේ බ්‍රේක් නැති වාහනේ වගේ. ඔය අසත්පුරුෂ කියන හරිය අපිට හොඳට දැනෙන්නේ මේ වාහනේ බ්‍රේක් නැතුව ගියාමයි. බ්‍රේක් නැති වාහනයක් යනකොට හැම තැනම හැප්පෙනවනේ ඇක්සිඩන්ට්ස් because they don't have control. මේ අසත්පුරුෂයාට වෙන්නේ මේ චූටි තැනෙන් වැඩෙන්න ඉඩ දීලා ගිහිල්ලා එක්තරා තැනක තියෙනවා කතා කෙරුවොත් ඇක්සිඩන්ට් එකක්. කතා කෙරුවොත් අනිත් මනුස්සයගේ හදවතේ පදාසයක් ඉවරයි. ඉපදි මැරුණා කියන එක අහගෙන. හදවත මේ පැලුවා නම් මීට වඩා හොඳයි කියනවා. මම මැරුවා නම් මීට වඩා හොඳයි කියන. ඒ තරම් තද්ද නපුරු සැර වචන එළියට එනවා බජු ගාලා. ඇයි අර ඇතුලේ තියෙන හරි සැර ගතියක්. ඒ සැර ගතිය එළියට පයින්. එතකොට වැඩක් කෙරුවොත් ඉවරයි. කොහේ හරි කායක හරි කතා කෙරුවොත් ඉවරයි, වැඩක් කෙරුවොත් ඉවරයි. ඔය හරියට එනකොට වසන්න අමාරු වෙනවා මෙයාලත් එක්ක. මොකද තමුන්ගෙම ගැන විතරක් හිතාගෙන කියන්නේ කොහොමද? දැන් මට තරහ ගියම් මම ඒක කිව්වා එතනින් ඉවරයි. මගේ හිතේ නෑ නෙව්ව. නෑ. එයා දකින්නේ නෑ. එයාට එතකොට ඒ චුට්ටවත් තේරෙන්නේ නෑ. එයාට තරහ ගිහිල්ලා එයා එව්වා එළියට දානකොට අනික් මනුස්සයට කොච්චර රිදිලාද කියලා. ඇසිඩ් ගැහුවා නම් හැම විතරයි පිච්චෙන්නේ. මේක එහෙම නෙමෙයි. කෙලින්ම හදවතටම යනවා. හදවතේ හිලක් හැදෙනවා. එයාගේ කේන්තිය පිට කරා එයා ඉවරයි කියනවා. අර මනුස්සයාගේ හදවතේ හිල ඒක හොඳ වෙන්නේ නෑ ඒ බුණ්ඩේ. එයාට වෙච්ච ඩැමේජ්. ඒකවත් තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. මේක තමයි මෙතන තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට අපි මෙහෙම මේ අසත්පුරුෂකම ඩිවෙලොප් කරලා ආවම එක්තරා තැනකට එනවා ඔෆිස් එකේ ආයත වසන්න බෑ. මොකද මේ selfishness එක වැඩි වෙලා ඇවිල්ලා එනවා මම තමයි උගත, මම තමයි జగත, මම තමයි වැඩකාරයා. මම කියන දේ අහන්න ඕනේ හැමෝම. ගෙදර ඉන්න බල්ලවත් පාලනය කරනවා, ළමයාත් පාලනය කරනවා, ඉතුරු මිනිස්සු ටිකත් පාලනය කරනවා. tamun කියන විදිහට ඉන්න ඕනේ. හිටලා කියන විදිහට හිටියේ නැත්තම් ඉවරයි. ඉතුරු සියල්ල කපා හරිනවා ඊට පස්සේ. ඉතින් වසන්න බෑ කාටවත්. ගෙදර අනික් අයට වසන්නත් බෑ මෙතනට එද්දී. ඔෆිස් වල කාටවත් ඉන්නත් බෑ. සමාජේ වැඩක් කරනවා නම් ඉන්නත් බෑ. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ රටවැස්සට ඉන්නත් බෑ. මෙහෙමයි ඉන්න තැනක වසන්න බැරුව යනවා. එච්චරයි වෙන්නේ. Because it produces so much pressure, so much stress to everyone around them. මේක තමයි මේකේ තියෙන භයානකකම. එතකොට මේක තේරුම් ගන්න දැන් මේ අද කාලේ එළියම විතරක් නෙමෙයි අසත්පුරුෂයෝ ඉන්නේ. දැන් අපිත් ගොඩක් වෙලේට අසත්පුරුෂයෙක් විය හැකියි. ඒ අසත්පුරුෂයා නොවෙන්න නම් මේක තේරුම් අරන් මේක නියපොත්තෙන් කඩා ගන්න. ඒ නියපොත්තෙන් කඩා ගත්තාම කරන්නේ කොහොමද? මනස දිහා බලලා purify the mind all the time. This is your first meditation to do. When you see the negative thought, when you see these unwholesome thoughts, you have to turn it around and teach the good thought and install it. එතකොට ඒ ද්වේධවිතක්ක සූත්‍රය ඔක කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ වගේ thought වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි අපිව නරක කරන එක. අපිව ගණ්ඩ දෙයක් නැති කරන මේ කුණු සිතිවිලි. අපිව නිවනෙන් ඈත් කරන්නේ මේක කියලා තියෙනවා. අනික් සිතිවිලි ඒ හොඳ සිතිවිලි මේක අතෑරියම අතෑරෑර වඩන ඒ අතෑරීමම ඒ වැඩිම ඒක තමයි හොඳකම වඩන්නේ. ඒක තමයි අපිව නිවනට ලං කරන්නේ. ඒක තමයි අපිව සත්කමට ගෙනිහිල්ලා නිවනට. සත්කමේ හොඳම තැන තමයි නිවන් සුවේ. සත්පුරුෂයාට හම්බ වෙන හොඳම දායාදේ තමයි නිවන් සුවේ. එතනට ගෙනියන්නේ අපිව මෙතන. මේක හරහා කියලා ඔන්න පෙන්නලා දෙනවා. එතකොට ඔය ඒ සිතිවිලි control කරන සූත්‍රය තියෙනවා ඊට අල්ලපු එක ඊට පස්සේ සූත්‍රය තියෙනවා Vitakka-saṇṭhāna Sutta. We can discuss those two next time because that gives you some tools like 5 techniques. මම දැන් ඕන නිකන් කියන්නම් ඉක්මනට because you might become inquisitive now. Oh, we would like to have the tools. So Buddha is saying if you see these unwholesome thoughts in your mind, first thing is to think the opposite. The second one is to see the consequences of you harboring that unwholesome thought. Adinave dakinno. Third technique is, now that you have tried both, if this thought comes again to your mind, the third thing what you have to do is, so you have employed the first one, the first shot, it hadn't worked. The second shot, it hadn't worked. Now it's coming back again. So you go to first technique, the second technique. After you employed it, you must employ the third one. එකපාරට නෙමෙයි මේ එක පිළිවෙලට එන්න ඕනේ. තුන්වෙනි එක තමයි ignore කරන එක. Now you have tried your best. මේක හදන්න බැරි එකක්. So you don't put any energy to that. You just ignore, totally ignore, and you go and do what you're doing. If you are purifying your mind with developing the loving kindness, you go and do that. අරකට attention දෙන්නේ නැහැ දැන්. energy දෙන්නේ ඒක අතාරිනවා. අර සමාජෙත් එහෙමයි ඉන්නේ. ළඟින් ගියොත් ඇහැක් නැහැ කියලා ඉවල හදන්න බලනවා. බැරිකොට අපි avoid කරලා යන්නේ, මගහැරලා යන්නේ. අන්න ඒ වගේ. දැන් මේ සිතිවිල්ල මගහරිනවා. ඊළඟට fourth technique එක තමයි, if it comes back again, then you have to see, බලන්න මේක ආවම මම කොච්චර ඉමෝෂනල් වෙනවද මේ බලන්න මේක එනකොට මම කොච්චර ඇවිස්සිලාද දැන් මේ පීස්ෆුල් වලට හිටපු මම කොච්චර ඇවිස්සිලාද ඒක දැක්කා නිමන්න තීරණය කරගත්තා නිමන්න වැඩ කරගත්තා ඊට පස්සේ fifth එක තමයි ආයවොත් ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ඇවිල්ලා හොඳ කුණු ග්‍රජ් එකක් හොඳ කාලෙක ඉඳලා පැහි පැහි තිබිච්ච කුණු තෝට් එකක් ඒකයි මෙච්චර මේ පළවෙනි දෙවෙනි තුන්වෙනි වලට මෙල්ල කරන්න බැරුව ආයි එන්නේ එහෙම ස්ටේන්ස් අරින්න ලේසි නෑ දැන් එහෙමවා තියෙනවනේ අපේ වාජනවලත් ඇඳුම් වලත් ඒක පිළිවෙලින් පිළිවෙල යන්න ඕනේ හොදලා බලනවා බෑ සබන් ගාලා බලනවා බෑ විම් දාලා බලනවා බෑ ඒ පාර ගේනවා බ්ලීච් ඒ වගේ තමයි මේ එක වැදිලා තියෙන ගැඹුර අනුව තමයි කොච්චර කාලයක් නෝ පැහැව තියාගෙන හිටියද කියන එක අනුව තමයි කොච්චර ලොකු අසත්පුරුෂයෙක්ද කියන එක අනුව තමයි කොච්චර කාලයක් මෙව වැඩුවද කියන එක අනුව තමයි තීරණය වෙන්නේ කොච්චර ලේසිද මෙව අයින් කරන්න අමාරුද කියන එක. ඒ අමාරු මෙව ආයි ඒ එනකොට ඔන්න පස්වෙනි එක තමයි දකින්න එක බලන්න මේක එනකොට මාව කොච්චර ටෙන්ස් වෙනවද මේ ඇඟ. දෙට බලන්න මේ උරහපතු තද වෙන්න ගන්නවා මම මේකේ සම්බන්ධය ඊළඟ පාර කියලා දෙන්න. මෙව තද වෙනවා මේ ජෝ එක තද වෙනවා තල්ල තද වෙනවා. you have to think මේ ඔක්කොම මේ හිර කරලා තද කරලා මේ කිලුට සිතුවිලි හින්දානේ මේ විඳවන්නේ. you have to relax and then release that thought. and එතකොට පළවෙනි එක මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? opposite එක ගන්නවා. totally the opposite thought. ඒ කියන්නේ කවුරු හරි ගැන අපි හිතමුකෝ එයා එහෙම කියලා මෙහෙම කියලා තමුන්ට එනවනම් තමුන් හිතනවා නේ තමුන් ගැන හොඳක් කියපු දෙයක්. ඒක හොඳක් කියපු කෙනෙක් කියලා සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අවධානය වෙන දිහාකට දෙනවා. ව්‍යාපාද එනවා නම් මෛත්‍රියෙන් මේක අයින් කරනවා. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි ආදීනවේ හිතනවා. what will happen to if you harbor this consequence? this unwholesome thought. ඒක හිතලා දැන් දන්නවනේ මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඔන්න ඒක එහෙම හිතුවම ඒක යන්න ගන්න. ඒක අපිට සුදුසු නෑ කියලා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ. අසත්පුරුෂයා සත්පුරුෂයෙක් වෙන්න හදන්නේ. එහෙනම් අසත්පුරුෂයව හිත ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නෑ. ඒක අතහැරියා. Then comes the third one, ignoring. You just totally ignore it, don't pay attention, don't give any energy. That's if it comes afterwards, peaceful වෙන්න වෙලා කාලේ ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ මේකේ මුලට ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. කොහොමද මේ thought එක හටගත්තේ? මේකේ මුල මොකද්ද තියෙන්නේ? මගේ කැමැත්තට යා වැඩ කරපු නැති නිසාද? නැත්තම් කොහොමද මේක පටන් ගත්තේ? එතකොට පෙනේ මමයා ඉන්නවා. selfish self-centeredness එක නිසාමයි ඒ selfish thought එක නිසාමයි මේක මේ වෙලා තියෙන එක expectation එකක් ඇදුණා. එක්ක තිබිච්ච එකක් නැති වෙච්ච හින්දා මොකක් හරි ඒක පෙනේ හේතුව. එතනින් ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. එතනිනුත් තමුන් දක්ෂණ තමුන්ට යෝනිසෝ මනසිකාරයටම යන්න පුළුවන් මේක හටගත්තු විදිහම බලා ගන්න. මේ අවිද්‍යාව නිසා නේද? මොකද්ද මේ උනේ කියලා. එතකොට ඒකෙන් ඒක හොඳට ඔළුවට අවබෝධ කරලා දුන්නොත් මේක එහෙම පිටින්ම සිස්ටම් එකෙන් ඉරේස් කරලා දානවා. පළවෙනි එක හරියට කරා නම් ඒක වෙනවා. එහෙම නොවෙන්නේ අපි මේ ටෙක්නික් එක හරියට කරලත් නෑ එකක් කරවත් හදයි. ඉතින් ඕම ඇවිල්ලා දැන් හතරවෙනි එකේදී මුලට ගිහිල්ලා බලලා එතනින්ම අයින් කරලා පීස්ෆුල් වෙනවා. පස්වෙනි එකට එනකොට බලනවා මේක කොච්චර disturbance එකක්ද තමුන්ට physical body එකට මේක තද වෙනවා මේක හරි යුද්ධයක් කරන්නේ කොච්චර සැහැල්ලුවෙන් සාන්තව හිටියද මේ කිලුට සිතවිල්ල එනකම් මොකද ওই පහකට බහිනකම් එනවා කියන්නේ now you are addicted to that emotion so when the thought comes you get angry when the thought comes you get anxiety attacks ඒ වගේ හරි strong එක strongly then neurons wire වෙලා So to like a fire with chatty, method hormones, then reaction again. You should be able to see it very clearly. What's happening here? Kalla relax karali varela a thought it's any mindful of that. Okay, the techniques in case if you were thinking we wish she shared it. So I shared that also, but we can discuss this sutta in a lengthy way. Next time, so have the suttas, and so this is about makeup. I think matana satisfied ne Asathpurusha bohoma surface level lekin kiyala dunna, but I hope at least you got the idea. So Asathpurushaya kiyane tamun ganama hitagena tamunta ඕන විදියට tamun මේ බොහොම මේ gross විදියට happy වෙන්න බලනවා අනික් අයට අර හෙන ගහිලා ගියත් කමක් නැහැ කියලා. අනික් අයට මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියලා හොයලා බලන්නේ. අනික් අයගේ දුක සැප ගැන දෙක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. sensitive නැහැ. අර හොඳ qualities නැහැ. ඒතකොට මේ අසත්පුරුෂයෝ කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? සද්ධර්මයේ දේශනා කරන අයටත් බැන බැන යනවා. සද්ධර්මයේ හැසිරෙන අයටත් බැන බැන යනවා. ඉතින් ඒ අය අසත්පුරුෂෝ සීලයක හැසිරෙන්නේ අතාරින්න දන්නේ නැහැ. දන් දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන්නේ මේ පන්සලට ගෑම කිහිල්ල දෙනවා කියන එක නෙමෙයි. අතෑරීමක් නැහැ. මොකක්වත් අතාරින්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ. ඒතකොට ওই දස පාරමිතාවල ලෙවල් එක බොහොම බිඳුව හරිය තියෙන නිකන් බොහොම නිකන් චූට්ටක් තියෙන. You can see that. මෛත්‍රී කරුණා මුදිතා උපේක්ඛා බොහොම චූට්ටයි තියෙන්නේ. මොනවද පිරලා තියෙන්නේ? අර අසත්කම. තිරිසංගති ටික. තරහ යන එක, බය වෙන එක, මේ එක sensual pleasures වලින්ම try කර සතුටින් ඉන්න හදන එක, ධනියෙන් බලයෙන් ප්‍රසිද්ධියම මත් වෙලා එව්වම හොය ඉන්න හදන එක, හැමෝම පාලනය කරන්න හදනවා. රටේ තියෙන ඔය තනිකර බලන්න ඉතින් selfish qualities වලින් එන ඒවා තමයි. එතකොට එයාලත් peaceful නෑ. එයාලට එයාලව පාලනයකුත් නෑ. වාහනේ බ්‍රේකුත් නෑ. emotional වුණාම බ්‍රේක් නෑ. ආයි මොකක්වත් නෑ. ඇක්සිඩන්ට් එකක් වෙලාම තමයි නතර වෙන්නේ emotional වුණාට පස්සේ. මොකක්වත්ම නැත්තම් කෑ ගහලා අඬන්න හරි ඕනේ. ළඟපාත කාට හරි බැනින්න බැරි නම් ගහන්න බැරි නම් කෑ ගහලා අඬන්න හරි ඕනේ. එහෙම බ්‍රේක් නැහැ. ඉතින් කෙසේ හෝ වේවා එතනට ආවම ඒක එච්චර හොඳ ලකුණක් නෙමෙයි. මේ මනසේ අපිට පාලනයක් නැති වෙනවා කියන්නේ ඒ වාහනේ වැඩක් නැති වෙනවා. බ්‍රේක් නැති වාහනයකට දුවන්න පුළුවන්. It makes puts everyone else at risk. ඒ වගේ තමයි මේ බ්‍රේක් නැති මනසවල් මානසික රෝග හැදුනොත් ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එක. ඔය කියන ඔය අසත්පුරුෂ තත්ත්වයන්ට ආවොත් එහෙම break නැති වාහනේ වගේ තමයි. We become useless to the society. We become useless to the family, to the ones who loved ones. When we have no control, පොඩ්ඩ බැරි වෙන්න බෑ accidents. රිදෙනවා හොගාලා අනික් අයට. හරි වැරදි තෝරගන්න බෑ. හොඳ නරක තෝරගන්න බෑ. ඒක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඔය ඒක පටන් ගන්න චූටියට මෙතනින් පටන් අරන් emotions වලට ඇවිල්ලා එතනින් ඒ character ඒක habit එක වෙලා ඒකෙන් character එක වෙලා ඔහොම තමයි යන්නේ. So ඕක ගැන ඉතින් තව චුට්ටක් හොඳට හිතලා කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න. එතකොට ඕක අහුවෙයි. මේ දක්වා කියලා දීප් එකේ මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න පුළුවන්. I think it's enough for today because I don't want to overload you. So that's one angle you can look at it from. Satpurusha, Asatpurusha. Stemming from selfishness, self-centeredness, and how it takes you in these two angles. When you breed the selfishness, it goes in the Asatpurusha way. When you shave off the selfishness and the self-centeredness, you become a Satpurusha, a grown Purusha.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Venerable Bhikkhuni. I think there are no questions posted, and also we have taken a lot of your time, but it was most wonderful and most thought-provoking, actually, sermon on how to identify the Asathpurusha qualities within us and how important it is to develop the Sathpurusha qualities within us. So much merit to you for dedicating your time to share the wisdom of the Dhamma with us. We look forward to next week. I hope we all get a chance to do our homework and read up on the 2 suttas. So will you take it forward like that from next week? How do you propose to do it?
Yes, yes, because
Okay.
this is only just a appetizer. So read the suttas,
Yes.
and then we can discuss them, because this is very important, because we are also acting like Asatpurushas, and as you can see, we don't want to be like that anymore. So we want to be Satpurushas. Then when we become a Satpurusha, we lead by that, then it will have an influence on others, and we can build a Satpurusha society. So it has to have this transformation from within. So we have to work hard first. So then birds of feathers flock together.
Sadhu, sadhu.
අපි මේක කරමු effort එක දාලා. So from next week we can read, but for the time being, watch your mind and see, put this, what you heard, put it to, observe your mind and see whether you can see these signs.
Yes. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Then shall we wind up, Venerable? Can we share merit with the devas and yes?
Yes, okay. So, okay, I hope you all benefited from this. And also what I will do, because the way you wrap it up, one word concerned me. So for you all to understand a bit more deeply on this, if I see some Dhamma talks or some documentaries or some things that will help you, I will post it to the WhatsApp group. That's why I asked them to develop a WhatsApp group. So you can do your homework by finding time to listen to those Dhamma talks, listen to those documentaries, so you will understand how this mind affect our glands and bring the hormones, and how the hormones affect our mood, and we call it emotion, and how these emotions start to run our life, and how it start to ruin. So you can see these connections. So I will post the Dhamma talk, so you know this is not just what Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta is talking about, but this is how the mind works. This is what Buddha had been trying to show you, and why we should take care of our mind from that thought level. So I will post some of the talks for you all, so you can deepen your understanding on this before you forget this. Okay, so take time to watch and listen to them as well. Okay, now let's share the merits. Whatever the understanding that we have developed today, may that understanding, that positive energy that we have developed, may that positive energy help us and also everyone around us. So everyone around us means not just the seeing beings, people around us, but even the invisible beings. So we can invite all the invisible beings, if they are around us and they want to partake in these merits. May all the invisible devas partake in these merits, and may they rejoice in these merits. May their happiness increase, and may they be able to experience the happiness for a long period of time. And as and when they wish to attain full enlightenment, may these merits bring causes and conditions for them also to attain the bliss of Nibbana, keeping that general loving kind thought in the mind. Let's chant Akasatta Chubumata Gatava.
Taj Bhumata Devanaga Maika Punyantang Anumodika Chandra Pantaloka Sasanam
Lokasattva Buddhimatta Devanaga Maitika Punyantang Anumodita Chirandraka Lokasattva Buddhimatta Devanaga
Also, let's share these merits with all the departed relatives and friends. So let's think of Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta Mahansa, also Bhante Puneji, and also whoever has passed away recently with COVID or with whatever other reasons. And also if there's any of your friends or relatives you are no longer with us, so let's share the merits with them as well. So keeping all of them in the mind, let's wish that wherever they are, may they find peace and happiness by listening to this Dhamma talk, and also by experiencing the positive energy we have generated. And may these merits bring causes and conditions for them also to find a better existence if they are in need of a good existence. And may these merits help them also to find total liberation from all kinds of suffering and experience the bliss of Nibbana as soon as possible. So keeping that in the mind, let's chant Idamme Ñāti Nang Hotu Gata.
Idam Ñāti Hotu Sukhita Hantu Ñātayo Idam Ñāti Hotu Sukhita Idam Ñāti Hotu Sukhita Hantu Ñātayo.
Okay, ඒ වගේම අපි සියලු සත්වයෝ එක්කත් මේ පින් අනුමෝදන් කරමු. සියලු සත්වයෝ මේ පින් අනුමෝදන් වෙත්වා. සියලු සත්වයන්ටත් සියලු දුකින් මිදීම පිණිසම මේ පින් හේතු වාසනා වේවා කියන සිතවිල්ල තියාගෙන එත්තාවතා චම්මේහි ගාථාව කියලා පින් අනුමෝදන්.
Sapadam punya sapadam sabbe divanamudha sapadam punya
Now comes the relative part to our teaching today. So normally after a session, we always aspire to not to associate with the balayas, not to associate with the selfish, foolish, wicked people, but to find the association with this good and the wise people. ඒක තමයි ඔය ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන ගාථාව කියලා කරන්නේ. So make sure that you see the seed of selfishness in you and how it, if you allow it to slowly grow undetectedly, how you will become Asathpurushaya and a Balaya, and you will become a headache to the others and to the society and to even Yamaraju. So we have to make sure that first we take ourselves to the safety, looking after this selfish seed and not allowing it to grow. Looking after means you're not feeding it, but trying to get rid of, shave it off, this selfish nature, selfishness, self-centered nature, and try to develop your heart, broaden your heart, and shaving off the selfishness and getting to the realm of selfless being, to become a selfless being. That's where you find the good people, and that's what the wise people do. This is what the Buddha is pointing out us to us, how to get rid of the selfishness and how to become a selfless being. The best being you can ever find, the selfless being, is the Arahant, the fully enlightened being, who is experiencing the bliss of Nibbana. So let's wish, let us not find the association with the Balaya, with the Asathpurusha, the foolish and the wicked, until we attain Nibbana. But may these merits that we have generated bring causes and conditions for us to only find the association with the good and the wise, the Satpurushas, the Kalyana Mitras, until we attain Nibbana. So keeping that aspiration in the mind, let's chant Imina Punya Kammena Gatava.
Sutta Samakamo, Toya Nibbana Patya, Imana Pandakambe, Mami Bad, Sutta Samak, Pandakambe, Mami Bad, Nibbana Patya.
Let's make an wish that may all these merits that we have generated today bring causes and conditions for us to penetrate into this Sadharma, be able to penetrate into the Sadharma and understand the causes and conditions that keeps prevailing this selfishness, that what keeps us in this selfish, self-centered nature, and be able to get rid of that. To be able to do that is called the penetrating into the Four Noble Truths. So let us be able to penetrate into the Four Noble Truths and attain the bliss of Nibbana in this very life. So keep that wish in your mind and aim for that, and chant Idam me punya kammang asavakya vaham hotu gata. Okay, so first I would like to really thank Sohaniputta for organizing this and share merits with her, and also who introduced me to them, Dr. Lalit and Fern and their friend would like to share merits with you all and with everyone who joined today. I would like to share the merits with all of you, and also with all of your parents, your teachers, your children, your partners, your siblings, your relatives, and with your friends, and with everyone. May all of you find peace of mind and happiness, and may these merits bring causes and conditions for you all to find good health and long life, and also may you all be able to find success in all the good endeavors, and may all your good aspirations come true, and may these merits bring causes and conditions for all of you to experience the bliss of Nibbana in this very life. May you all be well, comfortable, peaceful and happy. Sukhi hotu, abhivadana silissa, niccang buddha pachayino, chattaro dhamma vaddanti, ayuvarno sukham balang, ayurarogya sampatti, sagga sampatti mevacha, ato nibbana sampatti iminate samejjatu. So
Teruvan Saranai, Teruvan Saranai, Teruvan Saranai, Bhikshuni Mahansa, and Teruvan Saranai for all the participants. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.
Teruvan Saranai, Sopateva.